All right. So, hey guys and girls. Hi everybody. I am back from work. You know what I did all day? I got to make a three-dimensional dinosaur in ZBrush, and I made three-dimensional rocks in 3D Studio Max for a international water park. Big one too. Okay. So I just got to get my head in the game here. So we're making an animal, and look what I did. I got all these different. I think I got too many of these. So the head of my creature is going to be a Komodo dragon, right? And I got a lot of heads. I think I've got so many of these Komodo dragon guys. Um, let's see. That's a Panagolan. Ooh. Here's a trick. If you can't figure out what's on, if you see a layer like this layer here, a layer thumbnail, and you're not sure where it is on the page, if you hold down the Alt key and click on the eyeball, it isolates. It turns off everything else but that layer you clicked on. But the way it works is you got to hold down the Alt key and you got to click on the little eyeball next to that layer. Isn't that cool? That's a cool trick. So I'm going to take. I'm going to enunciate better. Is what I am going to do. Those are all Panagolans. These are my. Oh, that's my succulents because that's going to be like the funny little organelles that come out of the necks of our Pandora critters. Okay, so these are all of my lizard heads, Komodo dragons. So what I did was I took from layer 22 to layer 17 and I held down the shift key. So click on layer 22, shift key is depressed, click layer 18, that grabs all of those, that selects them all, hit Control G for group, and this is going to help me because I collected a lot of resource files. So this is these are my. I'm just going to call it dragon heads. Oh well, all one word. So we'll just. And I gave. Oh, there's some more. So I can just take this guy here, and I'm doing the Control Alt right click, hover over the pixel trick to select the layer. All right, and then I have here's my succulents. This is for the organelles. These are my succulents. So we'll just take these. Control click on the layers, selects multiple will make multiple selections of individual layers. Select and shift will grab all of the layers between the one and the other that you clicked on. I just have two succulents. I think I have enough. So I'm going to group those. I am going to call those succulents. Okay. And then we have our Panagolans. Or pangolins. I don't know. These are the craziest critters ever made. Well, some like they're up there with like the ocean seagoing sunfish and like the blobfish and coelacanths and kiwi birds. But I gotta tell you, man, these things are just insane. Just insane. I don't know much about them. I wonder what their little plates are made out of, their little armor plating. Oh, yeah. You know, they kind of look like armadillos. So we're going to call, I hate this. I don't, just got to kind of, you got to get just right. You just got to click on it to name it just right. Come on, man. Help me out. Give me some love. There we go. I'm just going to say, I'm going to call them Panos because I don't know how to spell Panagolan. And okay, so the feet of our critter. Now we're making really what we're making technically, like what we're making is the proper term is chimera. These are our ostrich feet. So get those turned off, and then of course we have our rhinos, which is our body and our legs. I think I'm going to use this one down here. That's really a good one. So we're going to group those, Control G. We'll call this layer Rhino. I'm just doing this because I got so many source files here. I can't keep them, you know. And of course, then I have, then I have my reference, our style reference and thumbnail folder here. I am going to just delete this. Delete, 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 delete. Now I am not going to build this whole thing. I'm not sure what I think we'll do the Pentagon skin. I think we'll put the head on, figure out how to do the feet. The thing is, you've got to make sure that the reason why I picked all of those different heads and stuff, the different lizard heads, the different feet, is because, you know, when you take a photo, when you're doing this photo mashup, photo kit bashing, photo collage technique, obviously the photos are all taken from different angles. All of your source photography are taken from different angles. So that one of the pain in the butt thingies that you got to cope with is like trying to get the feet from one photograph to match up with the camera angle of the leg of the other photograph. And so I will employ any number of different Photoshop techniques to kind of reconcile the angle differential between one photo and the other, but do yourself a favor and try and anticipate that issue, that problem of camera angle differences, and select multiple source images so that in the off chance one of those source images will actually be a close enough match with the other image that you're compositing together, and so you can not have to hassle too much with trying to, you know, fix disparate or different camera angles of your different source material. Okay, I'm just going to scoot this off here like that. Okay. Yep, just going to do that. And now we're going to grab our Rhino image. I really like this one just because the head is... This one's great, but the body is obscured in grass. This one's good body, but the head's down. This one's perfect because the head's sort of where I want it to be. So we'll just turn all... Ooh, wait. Turn that one on. And so all of the other considerations that we've had to cope with as far as lighting direction, overall lighting conditions, color space, value, all of that stuff has to be, you know, all of those considerations have to be made in this case as well, because it's the same design problem. We are photo compositing here. Now photo composition, just parenthetically, okay, I'm just using my brush to mask out here. That's what I'm doing, and I've created a layer mask. I have created a layer mask. I wish I could listen to music while I don't know about you guys, but when I work, I have to have music. I just have to. I don't know why. I paint better when I've got music. Oh, I don't need his head. We're gonna cut off his head. See you later. Oh, that's what I didn't do. Yeah, well, ears. I forgot to do the ears on our Navi Warrior. You know, I'm just thinking, if you guys want to do, if you haven't, well, I don't know, maybe you've already turned it in by now. But you know, in our weird time warp of online classes, nobody's done anything yet. And I was just thinking that I was looking at the ear of this Rhino, and that would make a really good Navi Warrior ear with some modification. Okay, so I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I really like to work with music. I can't, like, do my taxes or write correspondence or, you know, do math and listen and be distracted by other media. But when I'm painting, I really love to listen to music. And it actually helps me with my flow, which is a really interesting idea it's a concept, and I think it's probably legitimate. It was put forth by a dude, a researcher. I don't know what his academic eggheady sort of background is. It might be like a developmental psychologist, or he might, I don't know, shoot, he might be, political scientist for all I know. He's some eggheady sort, lot or kind of guy. And Mihai Shisek Mihai, and you're not going to be able to spell that because it's some crazy multisyllabic Eastern European name. But he's the guy that invented the idea of flow, which is this ability to kind of just get into this mental state of like supreme concentration, usually in some kind of creative act. But you could be like in like playing sports, or you could be like, writing, which is a creative act. I don't know. I doubt politicians ever have flow. Those guys are just a bunch of crooks. That's an editorial statement on my part. But anyway, but flow is this interesting idea by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, where you get into a mental state of like pure, undistracted, almost transcendent concentration. It's a state of consciousness of like this really supreme level of concentration, and where time just flies. It has all these interesting characteristics, like you lose sense of time, you lose sense of self almost. It's just really cool, and you're making something that's just really brilliant. It's like really, really brilliant. Okay, so I think the first thing to do, I wanted to say this too. Like, I'm showing you a technique that we're doing photo collage, kit bashing, whatever, for this class because you guys don't know how to paint, you don't know how to draw. Some of you, I guess, maybe some of you do. I don't know. I've been told that most of you don't. So I'm trying to get you guys into a concept design sort of milieu, introduce you to some creative concepts, introduce you to some Photoshop stuff, but it's definitely not a painting class. But I would just say that in the real world, me and my buddies at work, we do a hybrid approach of painting, digital painting, and photo composition. So just so you know, that's just the way. Okay, so let's add some feet onto this dude, because if you look at our like these guys, these critters here have these weird hoof feet thingies. And these guys actually have like human hands. You can't see it, but if you go look at the style guide, there's other photos that. So we need some kind of weird foot that's like a toe type foot thing. And I don't want to just use a rhino because it's kind of boring just to use a rhino feet. So let's see if we can get something out of this bird feet. And oh yeah, like I could totally use this on these feet here. So I think I am going to just, I gotta be on the right layer. So marquee, tool, active, Control Alt, click on that on the pixel you want to go to for that layer. Look at those. Aren't ostrich feet just the weirdest looking? Look at the size of that toenail. And they're all scaly and everything. I mean, you can really see why the paleontologists really believe that the raptor dinosaurs were proto-birds or were avian or something. So we need to get this. We're all going to composite it. I'm just going to. Oh, I've got a little bit of a feather. So I'm not too worried right now. I just want a weird toe-like thing happening here. And I'm thinking of anatomical structure. Can't be. Remember, we cannot have absurd. This has to be believable. So, Mrs. Whitlatch, Terrell Whitlatch, who is like the grande dame of kit bashed creature design, and she's brilliant. You really need to be paying attention to this. I gotta get this. I'm really getting a little too mushy with this thing. This is not working as good. I'm gonna have to. We'll start over again with that. But she's gonna, Terrell in my head, I can hear her saying already, make sure you pay attention to the proper anatomical structure of your critter. So it's got to feel like, and so with his foot, this doesn't feel right. Like this weird toe-like structure isn't blending well with the leg. So I'm going to try and imagine sort of the how physiologically this toe with like tendons and muscle and soft tissue, and is going to blend. And I think what I want this to do is sort of run up the, I could just erase that out of there. And I think that would actually work pretty good just like that. Look at that. Creepy. And it's almost the same, it's almost the same color space and lighting, so I think I lucked out. I don't think I really have to do much. I want this, this isn't really sitting in proper perspective. His foot is more sort of in parallel to the viewer, so I'm just going to correct that so it feels like his foot. That is so darn awesome. I want to grab some of these cool scales too off of this cat and bring these on to our critter, because these scales are so stinking cool. And I think it would help to blend, you know, sort of unify, because with a Chimera you don't want it to feel like it's these disjointed pieces and parts that just got slapped together. You've got to make this thing feel like it's one coherent and cohesive, you know, animal. So when you add, I might stick this underneath that foot. Ha, brilliant. When you add stuff, it's got to feel like it blends well. And by the way, just feathering it out and masking out and feathering it out is not going to work. You've got to make sure that, you know, I've got a three-dimensional structure here. Just like with that gun, you know, you had to sort of know the three-dimensional topography of your weapon to make it look 3D. This is true too. Like, this animal has a rounded leg, so if it's got scales, ostrich leg scales, it's got to feel like it's rounding around that. And I'm going to add some more. Now, I don't know if the red really works, but maybe it does. I think what I'll do is just, and see, I'm using the folds of the skin to kind of also work well with that. I think I might just brush in a little bit of this color here, because I've already got, and you'll have to, with your mouse, you're going to have to set your opacity down to 0. I just got a brush that's got, and I've added transfer to. And I'm just going to leverage sort of these wrinkles and this pinky color that I'm getting from these scales, and just leverage that in. Because I want it to feel kind of, you know, this is a pinky, you know, I want to take that pinkiness. And I won't do all the feet. You get the point. I think I'm going to add some more scales, though, because I think it needs more scales across the leg. The problem that I have here is this is a skinny little leg, right? And the scales need to fit across a ginormous round leg of a rhino. So I'm going to have to do some significant surgery to get the skinny little, basically it's a texture of ostrich scales to wrap across in a convincing way, in a realistic way, in a believable way across this. And this is going to have to go underneath. Maybe on top because I painted it pink. And I think I'm just going to grab this and pull that out. And oh, that's kind of neat though. I like how it sort of bunches up there. And I'll invoke the warp modifier again, just so that I can give it a little bit of roundness, because I want it to feel like it's wrapping around that sort of, you know, stovepipe cylindrical leg of that rhino. You want to maintain every bit of realistic perspective and volume and color that you can maintain, because you, once again, now you could sketch some of this in. That's kind of cool. I want to, if I was drawing this, I would be drawing it. You'd see some sketch lines in here, but and that would be okay, I think, like we did with the weapon. You know, you might, because this is a concept piece. It's not, this is not for full-on production. It's not intended to be shown to the public. This is, but you still want it to be a high level of professional finish. So, but it is a kind of a concept piece, so you can show some construction lines, and you can kind of reinforce that with a drawing if you want to. Okay, so there you go. Look at that. That looks kind of cool. I like that. I could finesse this more, and I would do all the feet like this. but I'm not going to bore you with that. Now I want to put some Panagalan scales on the back of this guy, and then a head. So then I'll let you guys go from there. They've got, remember, the Pandoran creatures have these tendrils that have that funny little like fibrous like natural USB port that they can attach to the V people. So you got to add tendrils. You know, I am going to be looking for a fully realized, just because I don't sit here and paint everything in front of you. You guys have to do that. This is just a demo, right? So don't. Yeah, that's kind of neat. I would kind of reinforce some of this scaliness. I'm painting in just the shadow side of those scales just to reinforce them a little bit. That's kind of cool. All right. I just worked. Okay, so that's done. So I'm going to turn off the O feet. Let's get the Panagalan scales on here. So I think this actually. So we're looking at a camera angle, right? So the camera angle of this Panagalan is about the same camera angle as our rhino guy. So I'm going to just turn these guys off, and I'm going to go to that layer, and with my lasso tool just kind of grab what I think I will need to throw on the back of this rhinoceros. And you know, the lighting on this rig is, it's a little bit darker, and it's a little bit more, the lighting is a little more diffuse. This lighting is a lot more high contrast, so I'm going to have to cope with reconciling that. Oh, do I have that? There we go. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see what we can get out of this. Whoa, that's kind of cool. This is already going to be neat. And I like the humpback thing. We can keep that. Keep that humped thing. Whoa, that's kind of cool. I want it to be orange, more orangey to match the color space. So I'm invoking. I think I'll do color balance. Image adjustment, color balance. Right here. This is a different sort of way to. I want to add some yellows. There we go. This just sort of works better for putting this into the color space that I want. Oh, that's brilliant. See how I'm getting into the color space that I want. And maybe just a little bit more contrast. No, I went the wrong way. There we go. Because our source file, the rhinoceros, when he was out there hanging around eating his lunch, was in like solid, bright, you know, clear day, broad sunlight kind of thing. This Panagalan, the lighting conditions were more diffuse. He was probably taken on a cloudy day or something like that. So I just need to push the contrast. Okay, so I think what's going to happen is I want this to be sort of a carapace that sort of lives on the back as a bony, maybe sort of, I don't know, armor plating, but it doesn't cover everything. And so I'm going to mask as if it's sort of living, these plates might be living and sort of emerging from behind like the shoulder region. And this is once again where you're going to have to kind of pay attention to the physiology of the animal so that it feels realistic. And I might, yeah, that's kind of cool. I might go ahead, yeah, see how that, see, it's sort of, I'm paying attention to the folds and the roundness of the musculature, and I'm trying to just sort of make this feel like these plates are emerging organically on that part of his body. That looks freaking awesome. I want some more running across his neck too, so I can duplicate this layer and delete the layer mask. No, I don't want to apply it, and I'm going to sort of appropriate this, rotate it a little bit, and oh gosh, that looks so good. Look at that. Look how well. Panagalans are great. I'm just going to drop the transparency down a scotch, just so I can see sort of how that's looking. I just like, yeah, I like the idea of a big hump. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to leave it like this. We'll see if that works. It's like he's got an armored mullet haircut. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And now let's get a head on him. This is where we're going to get these guys. Now, once again, I really need to kind of find an angle here. I hope this guy might be promising. This guy might as well. Maybe even that. This, you know, I think this guy is the best candidate. Let's just turn off everything here. I'm going to drop this back down underneath our rhino layer, and yeah, look at that. I think that'll work. Let's just Control T to transform. I'm going to hit, with the Alt key depressed, I'm going to move the pivot point like right around his head, and holding down Shift and Alt to constrain proportions, I'm going to scale that up. Yeah, that might just work. We're going to have to do a little bit of surgery on that Panagolan carapace. And obviously the color's wrong. But look, I'm looking at this waddle that he's got hanging. I'm going to try and incorporate this waddle into the rhino's neck, because the rhino's got all this, you know, flappy skin there. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and we could even leave his tongue hanging out. I'm going to just quickly mask out everything else. I'm just using my lasso tool, holding down my Alt key, and I have the freeform lasso tool selected, but with my Alt key held down, I can just tap, and it'll toggle to the point-to-point function. And I'm going to hit with an active selection. Remember, I've got an active selection going. I can hit my layer mask icon, and it will take that active selection, and it will cause everything else to be masked out when you create the new mask, if you have an active selection. Now I'm going to go in with a brush and with black, and I'm going to be a little bit more fastidious in my masking. And get the rest of this mask out. That's pretty dang cool. Now the one problem with this is I've got a pebbly skin texture bumping up against the skin, and so you know, wrinkly skin. So I've got a reptile bumping up to a mammal. So I need to. Once again, you can't make, if your chimera ends up looking like your creature ends up looking like it's just inarticulate, sort of clumsily pieces and parts chunked together, you're going to get a poor grade. I want you to use these photo editing techniques to really, as seamlessly as you possibly can, make me believe that this animal exists, even though it's made up of like 6 different pieces, right? Okay, and so you've got to be really good about, you know, blending these together. So I'm going to add a dual brush function or a characteristic, and this has like a big splatter thing to my brush, and I'm going, and you can do the same thing, but you're just going to have to drop your opacity down. And see how with this big splatter, and I'm going to just crank up the size of that dual brush to match sort of what am I going to say? The scale size of the dragon head, so that when it sort of blends from the tan, fleshy, wrinkly stuff of the rhino, it sort of maintains that pebbly nature of the dragon scales, and it sort of blends that pebbly textural sensibility. Will sort of blend from, yeah, because this is a pebbly. I'm trying to rephrase this, guys. Really, pebbly, scaly lizard blending into kind of beady, pebbly mammal skin. But the transition has to look organic, so I've taken this dual brush, pebbly brush and used that to kind of affect my layer mask. Now, this is funky, and I don't know that I'll keep that. I may change that a little bit. It's a bit large, over large, so let's see if I can, yeah, that's a little better. And I'll mask that out. That's a little better. Yeah, and then I'll add a layer mask to that. I don't know, I'll still keep my brush. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, that works pretty good. You can see how this sort of kicks, this little piece sort of kicks in and it feels like it's, you know, sort of emerging organically from behind his little, I don't know, like it's like a cranial ridge on his skull, but these are like sort of tucked in there. That looks stinking cool as heck. Man, that looks like it's really growing out of his head. Now, this angle's a bit funky. I can just, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and I'm going to turn off my dual brush, I'm just going to paint this down a little bit. And mask, because it just feels like it's a little bit wrong as far as like the camera angle. I don't think I'd be seeing that much of his forehead. And I want to be a little bit more. Now, I still haven't, the lighting is okay, I think, but obviously the color space is wrong. Now, some animals have different colors. You know what you could do? I don't know, these Pandoran animals have really cool stripy things. So maybe, you know, maybe they have like a blue head that stripies out into a tan body. You could do that, I think. But I'm going to I think I'm going to turn this brown and get it into the same color space as the brown body of the rhino. Or maybe, you know, let's turn the rhino. Should I turn the rhino blue? Let's see. What does it look like blue? A blue rhino. That might be cool. Let's try that. But I'm going to do color balance again, and I'm going to do an adjustment layer above the rhino, and then I'm going to mask out the color. I'm going to have it go from blue head to tan buttocks. So we're going to select that adjustment layer. We're going to do color balance, and I'm going to I forget what you call this. I'm going to assign this adjustment layer just to the layer below it. So the way you do that is you hit down. No, you don't hit your Windows key. You hit your Alt key, and you hover. This is kind of hard to do. You got to hover between the layer above and the layer below to get the layer above to assign that. I forget what they call that. There's a name for it. Lynda.com will tell you. I'm sorry, I should know that. But anyway, so let's change. So I'm just going to add some blue to this guy. Maybe no, that's too red. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. Oh, there we go. And now my red down here on his, I'm going to have to fix that. Yeah, and the color space now doesn't quite work. I think there's okay. But I'm going to have to add that to my Panagolan too, because the Panagolan, I don't know. I think I'm going to, because the Panagolan skin matches the color space. This matches better. Let's fix, yeah, the Panagolan carapace matches better with the brown. Let's change the lizard head to brown. But I think I'm going to take this, and this adjustment layer, and I'm going to stick it to that, and I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to double click to invoke that, and I'm going to use this to turn it, see if I can get it to more yellow. That's better. There we go. Ah, look at that. Now he's a little dark, yeah, kind of tannish yellowish color. That's better, and he's a little dark. And so I'm going to hit get back to the head layer, hit Control M, and I'm going to adjust lighting. And yeah, let's get that lighting a little bit more accurate. All right, cool. All right, there you go. Now I could love this some more. I think his head's a little bit off. Like I said, the angle of the head is a little bit off. Doesn't quite match. Oh, why does it do that? I just really hate that. So the camera angle on the head doesn't quite match the camera angle on my So the I guess I have to hit E. The camera angle on the head doesn't quite match the camera angle on the body of the rhino. I'm looking too much on the top of his head. So I'm just going to select a little. That's better. Yeah, that's better. And this nose should probably come up a little bit. So I'm going to scoot this up a little bit up here. And I don't know, you guys are probably not going to be able to finesse camera angles. You guys just need to, it's more of an intuiting process. And so you guys, but do your best. Do your best, please. See if, you really can't have egregious camera angle inconsistencies between your pieces and parts. So there we go, that's even better. All right, and this pebbly texture, I would probably take this pebbly texture and make it live throughout this dinosaur because, or the dinosaur, this rhinoceros, because it's so much larger than the pebbly texture. Its scale is so inconsistent. And really, I mean, the best way to do that would be to just sort of sample some of this pebble texture on the head, copy, paste, and put that on top of this, and just sort of, sort of figure out, try to imagine in an authentic way, like sort of how these scales might live. Now this is looking kind of patchworky, right? It's looking sort of poorly collaged, so let's go ahead and use that same technique. I'm going to mask. This is and we're going to, and see what I'm doing. I'm adding, I'm introducing this scale texture more holistically throughout the rest of the animal to tie this creature in with the other creature so that it feels like it belongs to, like it's the same creature, right? And I think, what I think I would do is I would take this, could imagine that maybe like the whole shoulder area and maybe up along his back was this lizard scale stuff. Okay, all right. Have fun making your critters. I think you'll enjoy it.